Hands down, I've had a lot of experience. I've had a lot of experience on a lot of different sites, and hands down, Seeking is by far the best. I know you ladies have had your bouts and your doubts about Seeking, but I'm telling you that Seeking by far is the number one place for you to find someone. So I stumbled across this guy named Don. Okay. Now, Don, he's got pictures that he unlocks for me, which I really appreciated. Don has a cell phone number that he gives me, which of course I appreciated. So Don and I start chatting. We start talking. Things are going really well with me and Don. Girl, girl. So when we talk about sugar scams and soul poppies, it wasn't scammy in the beginning. Everything he said to me, everything we did together in terms of like over the phone, because he was right down in Philly, an hour away, and I'm up here in Allentown, about an hour north of him. So I figured it would be nothing for us to get together, but it took a whole week for us to like figure out plans. So I started to get a little skeptical when I started to realize like this guy's right there and he's not making any effort to get here. So something's up, something's wrong, right? Then he starts sending me, oh, I want to help you. I want to, provide for you. I want to show you that I'm serious about you. I'm so sorry that I had to cancel our date, et cetera, et cetera. And Don sends me a screenshot. I wish I still had this screenshot. I'm actually going to check and see if I have it right now, because I'm pretty positive that I sent all those screenshots to one of my students at the time, Dean Darlene, was working with me, and I sent her all the pictures because I was like, girl, this just seems so off. Like, who is going to send screenshots of that much money? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to send that much money? He doesn't even know me, et cetera, right? So the more and more Don and I talk, like, look at all these messages from Don and I. Can you see these? Can you ladies see that? Like, the messages were endless, and he would constantly make promises to me and tell me, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you, right? Y'all see it, right? This is crazy amounts of messages, all those yellow and purple. So he ends up, I know I have the screenshot in here. Yep. Here's the first transfer. Now, this transfer looks completely and totally legit. Remember, this is what I do for a living at this point, right? Like, what I do for a living is help women not get scammed by these assholes. But this looks like a very real, very legitimate transfer, right? So I'm like, holy shit, maybe this is real. It has like the last couple digits of my bank information on it, because I did give him my banking info. Now, don't panic, ladies. I wasn't that damn dumb. Okay, here, don't fret. Here's what happened. A friend of mine gave me a shit check, and I ended up cashing that check. I didn't know it was a bad check, and it ended up bouncing and overdrawing my account. So since it was overdrawn already, I figured, well, what do I got to lose? I'll give my information to this guy. Worst case scenario, boom, I got money in my account. So of course, he kept like stringing me along with these kinds of messages and stuff. And then it was just like one thing after another, like my dog died, my this, my that, like you name it. My sister, yada, yada. And so I'm sending these screenshots, right, to my students and to Darlene. I'm sharing these in the group so the ladies can see and follow this whole entire scam process. So it was absolutely insane. He sent me so many of these, I don't know if I have the rest of them in here, but I'm sure I have them in the other group, where he was, I'm sending you 5,000. I'm sending you this much. I'm sending you 10,000. I'm going to up it to 10,000 because you've been patiently waiting for so long and blah, blah, blah. Like, you name it, this guy hit me with it. And I didn't realize that he was a scam, ladies, fully until I ended up finding him on a site, where did I find him at? What was it? Oh, shit. I can't remember the site, but it was like $2 for me to find out who this guy was. $2. And girl, he had a scam list long as you name it. He had everything from fraud to theft by deception to anything you could think of. When it came to fraud, this man had his toes dipped and dabbed in it. So it was insane. I got so close to being scammed. If my bank account wasn't overdrawn, that dude definitely would have got me for whatever was in there and then some, because your bank account lets you take out more than what you actually have. So it's so crazy that that I'm trying to find the other one, which was 10,000, because they look so real. And I know you ladies are having experiences with these guys, but it goes deeper, and there's a way to uncover whether this person is a real person, a real pot, or whether they're not. There is a way to decide and determine whether this person is vested in you and is going to put up the way they say, or not. And it happens in the very beginning, ladies. So get your pens and papers out, because today somebody's going to walk away from this live earning a special something. It might be money. It might be a free gift. It might be a gift card. It might be access to the Level Up library. It might be a free workshop. You just never know what it's going to be. So stick around until the end of this live to find out what you will earn by sitting in, because on Wednesdays we work, honey. Hello. On Wednesdays we work. Let me grab this workbook. Y'all playing. On Wednesdays we work, baby. So every single solitary Wednesday, moving forward, every single solitary Wednesday, you better have a notebook, child. You better have a notebook, or you're going to miss out on some awesome gifts and some awesome giveaways. So go ahead and grab your notebooks now, because we got a couple topics to touch on, girl. We got a couple topics to touch on, and we're going to get into it. So how do you determine from the very beginning if this person is an actual pot? Well, if you step in under the understanding that the objective is the end goal versus the objective is an amount, that immediately is going to help you have conversations with this person that will help to determine if they're a pot or not. For example, right? When you meet someone, okay? When you meet someone and you end up, what are you looking for? This and that. Now, there are formulas that will teach you in the blueprint to what is it you're looking for. But if you stop talking about what you want that person to do for you during that conversation, and you talk about what your expectations of their character is, you're going to see a substantial difference in the kind of person you speak to right away. For example, if instead of you telling him, you want somebody who's going to spoil you and take you on trips and, buy you nice things and fine dining, right? If you focus less on that and more on the characteristics of the kind of man that does those things for his woman, you're going to determine whether this is that kind of man or not. You see? Because a certain kind of man, right? Certain characteristics of a man, he'll end up doing those things. He's romantic. He wines and dines. He's got that old idea of relationships and where men stand and where they should be at the table, right? So if you approach him, the first conversation, and you look for his characteristics and qualities, okay, instead of trying to figure out how much money he has and how much money he's willing to offer you and how much money you are going to get from allowance, okay, I'm telling you, substantial difference. So, well, what happens after that first conversation, right? Like, we have the first conversation. We're like, okay, this guy's definitely like, he was on board when I mentioned consistency. When I mentioned mentorship, he was right on it. He was asking me questions. So clearly, he's that kind of guy. Now, simply ask this man what his needs are and what he's looking for. You have to ask him in return, because if you don't know what this person is what his end goal is, right? You may spend 2 to 3 months with somebody who you don't even like. You might spend 2 to 3 weeks with somebody who you don't even like. You might spend 2 to 3 hours with somebody at dinner who you actually never really liked at all. And you might walk away with nothing. You're going to walk away with the same thing you walked in with if you don't know what he's looking for. Because if you don't know what he's looking for, you can't deliver on what he needs and what he wants. And if you're not what he needs and what he wants, then what are you doing here? Right? I mean, that just logically makes sense. It's not about being a pick me, it's about making sure you're selected because there's a lot of women out there swimming in the sea. Okay, just like there's a lot of fish in the ocean, there's a lot of women swimming in the sea. Okay, and you are in competition with every single one of them for the richest man in the room. And if you want to have the richest man in the room, you have to know how to spot a pot from a mile away. You have to know how to uncover in the very first conversation. That's why we do these formulas in the blueprint the very first week, because you need to know how to pull these things out of him immediately, or you're going to get a salt poppy. You're going to get the guy that promises to give you the world and he never ever breaks out the checkbook. Okay? You're going to get the guy who says, you can have whatever you like. And then as soon as you ask for something, there's going to be validation and justification that goes behind it. Okay. So let's be mindful when you meet someone, focus a lot less on what you can get out of that person, right? Monetarily, what does he do for a living? Because I want to know how much money he makes, because I want to try to dive in his wallet. That is all a byproduct of doing this the right way, ladies, right? Stop searching for the richest man in the room and find the one most willing. Look for the characteristics of that person. Is he a giver? Is he family oriented? Is he kind? Is he considerate? Is he somebody that could be your best friend? Can you entrust this person? Does he feel comfortable? Do you understand? Did he pull out your chair? Did he open your door? Did he unfold your napkin and put it on your lap? Look for the qualities, the characteristics in this man instead of trying to figure out what he does for a living, how much money he makes, where he lives, how soon you can, hop in the will. Make sense? Because the money is a byproduct of the effort that you put in. When you put in effort to become an amazing woman, you start to attract amazing men. And then a byproduct of that amazing man is money. You see, you're chasing the wrong thing. You see, when you go into the dating different lifestyle, sugaring, whatever you want to call it, right? When you step into hypergamous mindset, when you step in, if you don't have an end goal, you're just going to be kind of like going through the motions while you're there. And then when it's over, because it almost always is, unless you're getting married, and if you don't have no goals and no vision and no end goal, then you're definitely not the married type. So you're going to leave the same way you walked in. So you have to be goal oriented. I need to search for the man who's going to have enough drive to pour into my cup. Not the guy who's a businessman, so he wants to help me start my business, but he's going to take 5%. Not that guy, right? So sugar scams and salt poppies come in so many different colors and flavors. The grains of salt are big. The grains of salt get fine and thin. Okay? If you're not looking for the qualities, money will never be a byproduct. You're going to get a guy with a whole lot of money and he's an asshole. He's a narcissist. He treats you like shit. He doesn't care too much about you. And that might be okay for you, but for me, that just doesn't work. I'm 32 years old with 2 kids. I want dun 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 dun. I want longevity. I will have dun 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 dun. I will have longevity. I don't want 15 different boyfriends that I have to hop on in order for me to cover a couple of my bills. I don't want to do that. I'm not at that phase in my life. And if that's you, more power to you, sis. Just don't be broke. I don't care what you do. Just don't be broke. You know what I mean? So step in, and instead of looking for his wallet, instead of wondering where his wallet is at and how much money he makes and how much you're going to walk away from the table with, think about what kind of seeds he can sow in you that you can plant and fertilize and build a foundation on. You see? That is what's going to sustain you. That is what's going to keep you going. If you pour into your bills while you're with him versus pouring into your end goal while you're with him, you're going to end up walking out with less than when you walked in. And that's definitely not #goals. So to avoid the salt, to avoid the guy that only gives you X amount of dollars, stop asking for allowance because you're setting yourself up for a salt poppy. You're setting yourself up. When you ask for $500, you're setting yourself up for a salt poppy. What do you need that money for? Tie him to that. Make that the thing. You see? So scammers come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors, but the worst ones are the ones that get in, the ones that get close, The ones that pretend like they are mentors, even women scammers that are out there that are offering you the world, promising you the world, right? And then you get there and you're like, well, you're not delivering on anything you said, and I'm never allowed to call you, and you never call me back, and this is crazy, right? That's what happens. It's the same thing happens with men, but you ladies are too blind to see that because you're so money driven that you're missing out on the bigger picture. What does the money do for you? Once it's spent, it's spent. So what are you spending it on? So if you want to figure out a salt poppy, if you want to figure out if you've got salt or sugar, you need to start figuring out the qualities of this companion right out the gate. Figure out what kind of man he is. Ask him how he would describe himself. Ask him what his friends would say about him. Be more clever with your questions. Not what do you like, where do you like to go? What do you like to do? No. Question, John, tell me about you. What would your friends say about you? What would your mother say about you? What made you decide to do what you were doing for a living, to do what you do for a living? You have to be more intentional with your questions, ladies. And when you become more intentional with your questions, the outcome is so much greater. Baby girl, you're missing the end goal and you're missing the quality. So everything else that happens in the middle is just like whatever happens, happens. You see? Crazy. So I want to let you know that, ladies, salt comes from your intention. And if your intention is to only get this money, you're going to get a lot of salt shaken your way. If you have an end goal and that end goal is something that makes sense, and I'm talking about like pennies, dollars make sense, not like, oh, that makes sense. No, sense, actual money. If your end goal does not make you, if your end goal is to collect coins, honey, you're going to be doing this for a really long time. That's why to my 304 and my Hope friends, when you ladies tell me that your goal is to get this money, you're absolutely insane because that goal never ends. You're going to die chasing that goal and you're never going to achieve it because there's no end to more money. There's no end to that. You can always have more money. What is the goal? What are his characteristics? Do they line up? Do they line up? If you have an idea of starting your own business and you want to go into financial finances and you want to give people financial advice and you want to be a financial coach and you want to work with businesses, you cannot date the meatpacking man who didn't go to high school. He's consistent, sure, because his ass gets up 9 to 5 and goes to work every day. But what else is he? Is he hungry? Is he driven? Is he ambitious? Can he have an intellectual conversation? Not that the meat man is dumb, but listen, if I knew how to cut meat, I'm going to open up a little spot in the back of my crib. I'm going to do what I need to do through the state to make sure that it's up to code. And I'm going to start cutting my own meat in the back of my crib. I'm going to go out and get me a shotgun and kill those animals because I am hungry and driven and ambitious and I have an entrepreneurial mindset. You see? So the problem with sugar and salt is that it's your fault. The problem with sugar and salt is that it's so easily decipherable in the very beginning, but you ladies are spending and maximizing your time with these people who are not pouring into your cup. And it's because from the very beginning, we were outwardly searching for the wrong thing. So I would highly recommend if you are getting salt all the time, if you're getting these guys that are just bullshit and scams and fake, or they waste your time, or you talk to them for days at a time and they don't deliver, start switching up the conversation. Switch up the tempo, sis. Start asking the right questions. Start surfacing the right subjects, because if you don't, you're going to end up wasting a lot of time with a lot of different people that just shit out promises every day. True story. You can be scammed by a female woman mentor. You can be scammed by a dude from off the internet. You could be scammed from the guy that you met at the gas station in person. Because if you go spend your time with him and you're laid up and you're chilling and you're giving him girlfriend vibes, right? You're playing the girlfriend role, you're playing the wife role. Now you're in his house, you're laid up and you got a drawer and you're cooking and all these things. And what has he done for you besides allow you in that space? But what kind of qualities does that man have? What are his characteristics? What would his friends say about him? What would they say about you at work? What would your boss say? Hmm? What would your boss say about you? Would it be good things? Would it be positive words of encouragement? And would he say that you're a leader? Start asking the right questions. Go get a question book so that you know how to engage in these kind of conversations. You understand? For example, Mr. Magic over here that just popped in, I would ask Mr. Magic what made him decide to start cutting hair. That's what I would ask him. And then I would find out if he owns the chair or if he's renting it. Hello. Did you start the business? Have you ever started, you ever thought about just branching out and owning your own barbershop? No, you haven't. Magic. Do you currently cut hair? Good morning from Los Angeles. Do you currently cut hair? Done with some of these scam mentors. You're the only one I've seen with real testimonials and proof. Well, welcome. Hey, how you doing? Join us. Sit with us. We eat good over here. Magic, are you an actual barber or is that just a really cute Instagram name that you thought was clever? I'm curious because I want to know I want to know a little bit more about you. I want to know if you currently cut hair or if you work in a barbershop, maybe you started cutting out of your living room. You do cut hair. Okay. Where do you cut hair at? You don't have to tell me the location, but is it in your own barbershop? Is it at your house? Do you do, you ever thought of doing mobile cuts? You see where I'm going with this, ladies? I also work in the oil industry and oil refineries. Okay. So it sounds like a little bit of entrepreneurial and you got a little bit of a 9 to 5. Mobile is what I do. That's a great idea. What's stopping you from becoming a full-on mobile barber versus, the oil industry and the oil refineries? Is it the money that keeps you there or I get $100 a cut? I didn't ask you all that, but okay. That's awesome. You must be a hell of a barber. You must be a hell of a barber. Okay, Mr. Magic. Magic, your DMs is about to be lit up, bro, if you say the right things on this live, sir. You say the right answers and you trend on this live, bro. Your inbox is gonna be lit, honey. Because we've been looking for a real one on Instagram. We ain't found one since. So but no, seriously, these are the kinds of questions that you need to be asking, ladies. You need to be finding out, does this man have an entrepreneurial bone in his body? Can he even understand my vision and where I want to go? Can he help me get there? Does he have the kind of qualities that I would need? Does he have the strengths in my areas of weakness that I need so that he can lead me into where I am going? Because right now I'm lost and I have no idea what I'm doing and I definitely need help. I obviously need help because I'm still standing still. So the people that I choose to put around me in my space gotta grow me. Because if they don't grow me, I don't want them around me. Right? Right? So, so realistically, look, you see how he's engaging back? The refinery, I work like maybe 2 months straight, and then maybe I'll have like a month off. Right? So asking these engaging questions. Obviously, he's got flexibility in his schedule. Obviously, the refinery pays him very, very well, or he would not be going doing that back-breaking, busting ass work. And in his downtime, he decided he was going to create a mobile hair cutting business that travels around the Los Angeles area cutting heads, and he gets charged $100. He charges $100 a head. I mean, listen, honey. 6 heads a day, 7 days a week. I mean, listen, that sounds like an entrepreneur to me. I have the freedom as a contractor at refinery, but it's tough work. There you go. Entrepreneurial mindset. You see it? If he started up a business, that means he can help you start up a business. If he marketed enough to be able to cut heads for $100, he can help teach you how to launch your beauty business. He can help walk you through what you need to do to get the inventory for your eyelashes. Okay. He can help you understand marketing on, even if it's just 1 degree higher than what you know now, even if it's just one little piece of knowledge you didn't know before. These are the kinds of questions that you need to be asking these men when you meet them. And instead, you're trying to figure out, so how much do you make at the refinery? How much do you make? You see, he voluntarily gave me that information. I didn't even have to ask. I didn't even have to say, how much do you charge to cut a hair, to cut a head? I didn't have to say that. He offered that information to me because I'm asking the right questions. I'm discovering salt from sugar right here on the live. You're watching it happen. Well, working monthly is what people make in 3 months. See? Told you. Told you. You and I need to speak, Mr. Magic. I might have to start up the men's side starting with you, sir. You are the first man that I'm actually even remotely interested in allowing you to remain on the live. All the other ones, I just ignore them and they get the boot. So hats off to you, Magic. You said all the right shit today, sir. Hats off to you. I'm a new entrepreneur and I live in the Bay Area. We should meet somewhere in the middle. Ooh, there you go, Malia. There you go, sis. Shoot that shot. You got to start asking better questions. You got to uncover the right shit in the beginning because you're asking the same stuff you've been asking for the last 3 years. You're on these sites and you're on these apps and you're saying the same shit in your profile and in your messages and in your everything. There's no substance there. Create the substance, ladies, so that you can stop getting salt. Okay? On that note, Magic, I appreciate you for being a champ and chatting with us and sticking it out on the live. Many men do not make it here, okay? So I appreciate you for sticking it out. Ladies, I hope this gives you some really good insight on how to discover salt from sugar, because you don't want to spend 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years with somebody and not walk out better than when you walked in. You've got to be looking for the qualities of that person. You got to be looking for the characteristics behind that man. You got to figure out what motivates him in order to find out if he's going to be willing to pour anything into you. Okay? Because you could feed me the moon, honey. You could literally promise me the stars. But until you start to show up and show out, listen, you can't count them until they're in the bank. Okay? So, moving forward, ladies, switch up the tempo. It's time to start asking the right questions. Make sure if you did not catch this video right here, go check it out on our live over on, we're doing live now, over on our YouTube channel. Y'all know this is new to me. I'm not used to saying this. We finally got a YouTube channel. So go like, follow, and subscribe. Please, please, please. We love you. We've seen the subscribers go up in just a matter of a day or two of me announcing that we have a YouTube channel. So I love y'all for that. You always support me. Make sure you go check it out because this will be saved, but it won't be saved here. So if you want to catch this full video, you need to slide over to our YouTube channel and catch it there. I appreciate you ladies for tuning in. And remember, this is hard work, y'all. This is hard work. It is not just a luxury, ladies. It's a lifestyle. Ciao.